Hello everyone and welcome to Don't Be Bored. Today I'm joined by Jeff, the designer of Positano. This is a village, cliffside village building game for 1 to 4 players. So welcome to the channel, Jeff. Please introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about the game.
Hi there and thanks for having me. My name is Jeff Grissenway. I'm a board game designer in the Chicago area. I have several games that will be coming out over the next couple of years, but the first one is Positano. Now, this is a town that is built up on the hillside of the Amalfi Coast of Italy. And in the game, you are architects that are constructing buildings. But the twist in this game is that you are only going to get points for your rooms that have a view of the beautiful Mediterranean Sea down below.
Well, we have to start with the look of the game. Building up, you really do get that sense of that cliffside village. So, well, what came first? Was it the theme or was it the design?
In terms of the origins of Positano, I keep a running list of ideas that I have for different game designs. Some are mechanics first, some are theme first. In this case, it started with the concept of a city building game in which you're striving to have buildings that have good ocean views. And I had that sit for quite some time in the backlog because I was initially thinking of cities like Miami, in which it's pretty flat and you have buildings that are sitting on the beach and they have great ocean views, and anything behind them doesn't have an ocean view at all. And so it sat there for some time, and sometime later then, I came across a photo of the town of Positano in Italy. And what's unique about this one is all of the buildings in town are stacked up on this very steep hillside, some call it a cliffside. And so the buildings in the back are starting at a higher level than those ones on the beach. And I thought that combined with the mechanic that I described of constructing buildings that are aiming for ocean views, those come together quite nicely, and I can make a game out of that.
That's cool how it sort of developed there and you were able to sort of take something that you had in your mind and add it as soon as that thing had clicked. I love that. Now, the building up isn't the only way to score points, although it is the main way. Could you elaborate on some of the other ways to score and how did you balance them?
Yeah, so the primary method of scoring in the game is by constructing buildings that have views of the Mediterranean Sea down below. And that's done with each of the buildings have a different quality. So you have your cheap buildings, your standard buildings, and your luxury buildings. And so if you manage to construct a luxury building that has clearer views of the sea, you're going to get a whole lot of points, much more so than if you construct a cheap building. But if somebody constructs a building right in front of your luxury building, you're going to lose all those points. So that's the primary method of scoring points in the game. Beyond that, then, there are goals that are introduced each game. And it's a random set of 8 different goals. You're going to choose 3 of them. And so these add to replayability in the game, so every game's a bit different. And also, they reward longer-term planning. So, for example, you might be striving for having the most buildings on the outer 2 columns of that cliffside, or you want to have the most buildings that are on the shorter side, below regulation height, or maybe you want to construct a large group of buildings that are all interconnected. So those types of goals, again, add to replayability and those long-term planning. And then the other method of scoring in the game is gelato. So gelato is, there are little gelato icons on both the tiles that you're bidding on and some of your bidding cards, and they tend to appear on those tiles and cards that are less than ideal. So it serves as a consolation prize when someone else bids higher than you and steals the tiles that you are most interested in. And it also increases strategy. Because there are going to be points in the game in which you have this tough choice of, do I want to take the thing that is going to let me construct the better building in the better location for me, or do I want to take the thing that's like slightly less than ideal, but it's going to give me some extra points in terms of that gelato for the end game.
It's great that you've thought of that replayability and, well, who doesn't love gelato? I mean, come on now. Right, diving a little bit deeper into the game's design, what sort of changed the most through the design process?
I made lots of changes along the way as a result of playtester feedback. The biggest is certainly the fact that the game used to have a whole currency system. You get money as a result of people or tourists staying in the buildings that you constructed, and you'd essentially be charging rent. And ultimately, I ended up scrapping that after some playtester feedback. It was a fiddly part of the game. It put players in the role of a landlord, which isn't that fun. And ultimately, it took away from the core of the game, which is constructing these buildings that have views of the sea. And removing money entirely from the game was challenging, and it forced me to think about distilled down to its essence, what is money doing in the game? And as a result of that, it led me to what ended up being the core mechanic of the game, which is this 2-card bid triple draft, in which you're using 2 cards to bid on 3 different things at once. And there's a juicy choice in there every single round, and you're needing to get in the heads of other players to figure out what they're about to do. And it's the thing I love most about the game, and that came about because of playtester feedback and as a result of gutting this whole currency mechanic in the game.
That sounds like a big change, but it also sounds like it's resulted in like one of your favourite elements of the game now. So I think that means it's entirely worthwhile. And I often hear designers say things like that, where they've cut something and it's turned out so much better as a result. And you mentioned earlier, this isn't your only game out there or that you're designing, so you've got some experience. What would be a tip that you'd give to first-time designers?
In terms of tips I would give to first designers, I have many, but I think I'll start with what helped me go from just designing games as a really casual hobby with no intent to publish them to a place where I have multiple games that are going to be coming out over the coming years, with one on the shelves and doing well today. And that tip is to find game designer communities that can help you level up as a game designer. A couple of them that I'll note that have been great for me. One is called Break My Game. I am a host there. We do scheduled playtesting sessions every day of the week. So you can get your game online, playtest it with other people, and get lots of great feedback along the way, and get great tips from more experienced designers on how to level up what you're doing. And the other one is Protospiel and Protospiel Online. These are both in-person and online conventions at various places where you're going to spend a weekend and get together with a bunch of designers and just playtest all weekend. You get great feedback, and it's a lot of fun.
Very importantly, where can people go to find out a little bit more about the game?
The best place to learn about Positano is probably on Board Game Geek, where there are lots of videos and reviews about the game. You should be able to find it on Amazon to purchase or at your friendly local game store. And if they don't have it, you can, of course, ask them to stock it on their shelves.
I'll put the link to the Board Game Geek page in the description box downstairs, but before you go clicking, a fun one to end on. Jeff, what would you say is your go-to gateway game?
Six Nimmt or Take 5 is my absolute favorite game to introduce new gamers to the hobby. It is always a hit. In the game, if you're not familiar, you are everybody at the same time is playing a single card. You're flipping them all up, and you're arranging them in these rows. And if you are ended up being the 6th card in the row, you need to take all the cards in that row, and it's going to earn you a bunch of points. And points are bad in this game. And what I love about it is I can teach it in under 3 minutes. But at the same time, it has some interesting strategies. It has huge moments where everybody at the table is laughing. And like I said, it's always been a hit with any group I've brought it in front of.
A game that's always going to be a hit, that is exactly what you want from a gateway game, so a great choice there. Like I said, links will be in the description box downstairs, so please do go check that out. Thank you very much, Jeff, for answering the questions, and thank you for watching. You want to see more? Subscribe to the channel, go and check out the other designer interviews, reviews, news, and so much more. And until next time, have a fantastic day gaming.